I'm here to recognize Chuck Hammers. He's been the president of our board of directors of the PBID for 11 years, and I joined the PBID board at the same time as Chuck and Bill. My name's Jim Ortball. I'm a deputy city manager now in the city and was with the Department of Transportation for many years. The PBID has been, I think, an amazing part of the downtown partnership. The city, the downtown businesses, residents, commercial property owners really trying to make a difference in downtown. And as you may recall, when we started the PBID back in 2007, 2008, we were kind of on the precipice of kind of the Great Recession, and redevelopment was struggling in downtown. And I think Chuck saw the vision of what we need in our downtown. The city was really at a place where we were having to cut back on our investment in downtown and just didn't have the funding to do the things that needed to be done. And Chuck came on the board, unanimously elected as our president, contributed in so many ways. And about 11 years ago, we were on the plaza here at the Hammer Theater, and Chuck was kicking it off, and he kind of set the standard at that point in time and said, our goal at the PBID is to have downtown looking like Disneyland. And that set a standard for us. You know, the quality and the attention to detail and the cleaning and the friendliness of our Groundworks ambassadors, all those types of things. Chuck was continually, over our 11-year period, really the standard for the PBID. He was at every meeting. You know, I pride myself on being on time and being in meetings and contributing, but Chuck, I think, had a better attendance record, was always there prepared, ready to take on the next challenge. When we knew we had to expand into tree trimming, into business support and development, into security, he saw those needs. I think he got the rest of the board kind of aware of those, engaged us in it, and really kind of brought us around as a real team to advance those critical needs for downtown. We really owe kind of a debt of gratitude to Chuck for his leadership, his vision, his ability to kind of focus on the details and make sure that the PBID really delivered value. Everybody is contributing to that owns property in the downtown, whether it's the city, businesses, those that are leasing. We are all contributing to this effort downtown. And Chuck focused our board on delivering value to all of you, to all of us in downtown, and we certainly have delivered, and Chuck was a major part of that. So please, let's recognize Chuck Hammer, the president of the PBID board, the one and only president of the PBID board over the last 11 years. We extended term limits one time to keep Chuck and Bill on the board. I guess we can't do it again. We're going to miss both of you, but Chuck, we're going to miss you. Come on up and receive some recognition.
You know, San Jose wasn't my first choice.
Sorry about that. Councilmember Raul Perales, I forgot to introduce him. He has a few words to say and a little bit of recognition as well. So why don't you stay up here, and Councilmember Perales is coming down.
Awesome.
Stand up here, Chuck. All right.
Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries. Thank you. Well, this is a special recognition. I'll let you hold this one. Stand there looking pretty. Not as pretty as Sarju, though. So. Well, good morning. This really is a special recognition, and I come out of hibernation, and as you can tell, a little bit cold still. I was actually hoping on bringing my son today. He has this nice little San Jose onesie that the mayor bought him. But he didn't really sleep too well last night, and neither did I, so I threw on this sweater, and I just said, I'm going to make it out. But it really, really is important to recognize all of the great individuals that have helped and support on this board. Everybody's deserving of the recognition, but at times you have individuals that I think are deserving of a little bit extra special recognition, and Chuck is one of those. And so I'd like to be able to say a little bit about him and present him a commendation from the mayor and myself. So it is an honor to be able to tell you a little bit about Chuck and his history here. Chuck opened up his second Pizza A Go-Go restaurant in downtown San Jose in 1986. He's a founding board member, and as you heard, the only president here with PBID, but a founding board member of the Downtown Association and its third president back in 1990. In 1997, he consolidated his restaurants under Pizza My Heart, and today he operates 25 Pizza My Heart restaurants throughout the Bay Area, including his downtown San Jose branch right here on San Carlos. And Chuck and I had the opportunity to meet many years ago when I was a police officer, and one of his Pizza My Hearts was burglarized during my midnight shift. In 2007, he was a founding board member of the Property-Based Improvement District and has served as its only president, as was said, for 11 years. Chuck has helped launch the PBID's most impactful initiative, Groundworks, the Clean and Safe program, and push for a distinct customer service approach for downtown businesses, residents, and property owners. And I think that goes without saying how important Groundworks has been for all of us here in downtown. He's also contributed in establishing the PBID's other key programs, such as business development services and street life projects, like dog parks, murals, public art installations, and Moment, as we've heard this year at San Pedro Square. His leadership and influence as board president has helped establish the Downtown San Jose PBID as one of the top clean, safe, and beautiful programs in the country. It's safe to say that your pizza pattern shoes, knew you're going to wear them, will be very big ones to fill for PBID. Chuck, thank you so much for all your years. On behalf of the mayor and myself, we'd like to present you this commendation. Okay, now the mic is yours.
Wow, this is really cool. Councilmember Perales, I can't say how much you've been so valuable to downtown. In watching the slideshow, I think you had the most appearances up there. Every ribbon cutting, everything else, we really appreciate your support downtown. Thank you. You know, this is my third time termed off, and I've been reflecting back on that. And as I said a minute ago, San Jose wasn't actually my first choice. At 25, I decided I wanted to open up a chain of pizza restaurants. And I had realized that Mrs. Fields and a number of other chains had started on University Avenue in Palo Alto, so I thought, this is where I should start. And there was one location available up there, and I went in and I met the landlord, and we struck a deal, and we're just about to do a deal, and he says, you know what, I'd like you to make a pizza for me. And I'd never made a pizza in my life. So that deal went south. And then I went south, and I came downtown, and I looked around, and there were more vacancies than there were businesses down here in 1985. But being 25 and wide-eyed, I like, hey, I can pick and choose. I can be anywhere. So I picked a place right near San Pedro Square, and I looked across, and what I saw was this big, shiny gold building going up. And I saw light rail coming in, and I said, boy, there's going to be 1,000 workers in that building. And there's going to be millions of people come in on light rail. I want to be here. It seemed like so much promise at the time. And I opened up that first day, and we did $124. And that was a little scary. But not long after, another guy that was young walked in to my restaurant and introduced himself, and he was the owner of Metro newspaper. It was Dan. And Dan said, I have an idea. We should start a downtown association. And I'm like, great, what do we do? He says, well, let's all chip in $50 and we'll have a meeting. And we go to this meeting, and there's 16 of us. And there's about half old guys and about half young guys. And like Steve Borkenhagen from Ulipio was one of the young guys. And then there were like these older guys. One guy had sold typewriters, and one had a greeting card store, and one was running Woolworth 5 and Dime, and kind of the writing was on the wall for the old guys. So the young guys, had all these great ideas, and so we thought, boy, we got $800 here. What are we going to do? So then a couple miracles started happening. We went to the city and we said, hey, we want to promote downtown. Will you give us some money? And redevelopment was just flush with money. And the first miracle happened, they gave us $500,000. That was $1985 too. And then we thought, okay, what do we need to do next? We need to get somebody to run this organization. We don't have time. We're running our own businesses. So then the second miracle happened, because we're thinking, if we can hire someone for 2 or 3 years, that'll really get us going. We hired Scott, and he's still here. And then we decided, okay, we've got to do something downtown to bring people. And they had banned all festivals or any public gatherings at the time. We talked the city into doing a food tasting. And we're going to call it the Great Taste. And I went out and I gathered like 20 of our other restaurants, and we said, we're going to do this food tasting. Come on out and serve samples, and we're going to get people to start coming downtown. And Dan and Scott were in charge of music and other stuff. And the third miracle happened. Dan somehow talked the Doobie Brothers into playing for free. I mean, I don't know how that happened, but it's what really launched the Downtown Association and gave us credibility. We threw this huge basic party downtown and reintroduced downtown to people to come downtown. And thousands came, and the association sold thousands of dollars worth of beer and kind of launched the finances of the association. And I sold that weekend $11,000 worth of pizza, which was just amazing. And that's what really helped me get going. And so that first term limit of 8 years that I was on the board, that's what we kept doing. We kept making more and more. We did festivals, we did music in the park, and it was great. And then I got turned off. And a couple years later, Scott calls and says, hey, would you come back on the board? And I thought, well, it was fun. I had like 5, 6 restaurants at this point. And I thought, I'm not going to be able to do as much to ring my register at this point, but I can come back and help out. And we came back, and then the association did the ice rink and the farmer's market. And that 8 years was just really fun because we were really seeing downtown and the association hit its stride. And at the end of those 8 years, I kind of thought, it's time for me to go. And, the first 8 years was great because it really helped me get going. And the second 8 years was great because it was just a lot of fun. And I left, and Scott calls me a couple years later and says, hey, would you consider coming back to be president of the P-Bid? I didn't know what a P-Bid was. And he explains, we're going to make downtown clean, we're going to make it safe. And I sat here and I thought, okay, this isn't going to ring my register. And this actually doesn't sound that fun. It sounds like I'm going to have to wear a button-up shirt, and I'm used to T-shirts. And because I'm going to be in a boardroom with people that own these big buildings and are serious business guys. But then I thought back to those festivals and all that, and really my business wouldn't have been there without San Jose and without the festivals and the Downtown Association starting. And I thought, it's my turn to give back. So I thought, I'll do this for a couple years. I'm going to give back and really help launch the P-Bid. So that's what we did. And in the end, I've stayed on as long as I could, at 11 years. This has been the most gratifying because now, when I come downtown, it is so fun to walk around and look at a flower pot and go, I remember when we voted for that, or look at all the flowers and the murals and the dog parks and the things that we've done that have really changed and made downtown so much more livable. And my favorite, the 3-year project of getting the blue donuts underneath the underpass. So my kind of takeaway on all of this is 2 things. I want my kids to really understand that whatever impacts your life, you should give back to. And I think that's important. And the second thing is, I realize now, I'm the old guy. And, it's probably time for me to take off my button-down shirt and go back to my T-shirt and leave downtown to the new young guys and let them take over. And from what I hear, there are really exciting things happening downtown for these young guys to do. Much more exciting than the Gold Building and the light rail coming downtown. So thank you. I adjourn from downtown. And I adjourn this meeting.